Hello students, welcome again to this video lecture. So in previous video lecture we discussed about the roles of NGOs, functions of NGOs, and what are the provisions done in the Indian Constitution for the protection of basic human rights. According to the Indian Constitution, there are National Human Rights Commission and State Human Rights Commission, and this help to protect the basic human rights which are mentioned in the fundamental rights, okay, under the section 3, that is part 3 of the Indian Constitution, wherein fundamental rights are mentioned, and in that part 3 of fundamental rights these basic human rights are added there. Okay, so there are several commissions to protect the basic human rights, as well as there are except this or apart from this NHRC and SHRC, there is another body, that is voluntary organizations work to protect for the basic human rights. Those are called here NGO. Okay, so what are other NGOs in India to protect the basic human rights, or what are the NGOs in India that have worked tremendously in the field of uh, land, water and forest? In this field there are several problems arise, and to protect the people in these fields, they come forward to uh, give the safeguard or to provide the safeguard for such peoples like Adivasis, or the people who are around the nearby to the rivers or dams. uh, because of that they were violated, their life or somehow was violated. Okay, so these things we are going to study, which are the NGOs. So see here, this movement was started by Sundarlal Bahuguna and Chandi Prasad Bhatt in 1970. Okay, and it spread in Garhwal region of Himalayas, which is the source of great rivers like the Ganga and the Yamuna. And the Uttarakhand faced environmental problems like soil erosion, drying up of the resources of water due to the clearing of forest, and people started cutting off trees for commercial purposes. So there are several problems, environmental problems like soil erosion, drying of the sources of water due to the clearing of forest. These problems are arise there. Although some people were started cutting off trees for commercial purposes, and we know the scientific reason. If we cut the trees, there may not be there will be more soil erosion. Okay, and for that purpose, Sundarlal Bahuguna and Sindhya Prasad Bhatt in 1970 started the Chipko movement. Again, next information is added there. So this also called soil degradation, because of that forest cuttings uh, caused soil degradation, and it became essential to protect the environment from its further degradation due to the deforestation. And the movement started for this purpose was named as the Chipko movement. And the term Chipko literally means hugging or embracing trees. And Sri Bahuguna started protecting the trees by embracing them, and this is the mass movement of its kind, started solely for protecting the trees and forest. Okay, and let us see the brief history of the movement, of the Chipko movement. Okay, so the origin of this Chipko agitation can be traced to the movement started in Rajasthan some 300 years ago. Okay, the ruler of Rajasthan allowed the cutting of khejri trees for creating lime. Okay, and a Bishnoi women, that is Amrita Devi, sorry, a Bishnoi women, Amrita Devi, opposed the king's decision very vehemently, and hundreds of women joined the movement spontaneously, and some would hug the trees for stretching their arms for preventing the felling of trees. Okay, you might have seen this picture, or you might have seen this movement that it was picturized in several cinemas, or you might have seen this as a picture in your uh, undergraduate, we may say that under high school, in high schools, okay, there may be some lessons regarding this Chipko movement. Okay, so this was the scene happened there. Then the most unfortunate part was that these women were killed mercilessly by the ruler. But this event inspired people for protecting the trees and forest for centuries together. And taking inspiration from the agitation, Sri Bahugana started the tree protection movement when the timber contractors started felling the trees with commercial intentions. And he opposed. He opposed the woodcutters strongly, and local people supported Bahuguna, a great environmentalist, actively. Okay, so they adopted some techniques of embracing the trees for preventing the cutting of trees. And because of the overwhelming response of the people, the movement spread very widely. Okay, and initially the Chipko movement was started in a town named Dasholi. Okay, this movement was started in town that is Dasholi, and the woodcutters were clearing the forest recklessly, and this resulted in the loss of forest wealth and natural resources in the area reduced radically. And Gaurabai opposed the cutting of trees and clearing of forest, and under her leadership tribal women actively participated in the movement that was solely started for the preservation of forest, and hundreds of hectares of forest were saved because of this movement, and this unique agitation was appreciated all over the world. And at present the organization has over 4,000 groups working for the protection of forest and environment. So this is the success of the Chipko movement. This is the success of non-government organization. Okay, and this is the success of the devotion of that women, that people who supported to protect the forest, to protect the trees. And this Chipko movement is also working for the protection of human rights. Tribal people living in forest as well as in hilly area earn their livelihood by extracting and selling forest products. They have a right to life, including the right to food and livelihood. Okay, so they also have a right to unpolluted environment. And the Chipko agitation is consistently working for protecting mainly the economic and environmental rights of tribal people. Thus, the Chipko movement that started as a campaign for environmental protection has been also protecting human rights of people. So it took the form of uh, the movement of protecting the human rights of people. Okay, so next NGO is that NBA, that is Narmada Bachao Andolan. Okay, that is related to Sardar Sarovar, which is in Gujarat. So the Sardar Sarovar project is one of the mega development projects in India. It is also a multi-purpose project. It was undertaken in 1946 for providing drinking water to people, supplying water for irrigation, and also for the generation of energy. That is called here multi-purpose project. The project involved the construction of hundreds of small and large dams. There are hundreds of small and large dams uh, were being constructed. It was decided in done time. Then what happens here? So this project is so big that it caused the submergence of lakhs of hectares of agricultural and forest land and hundreds of villages also. It was going to cover such kind of lakhs of hectares of agricultural and forest land in this project, and it displaced over a million of people, and most of them are tribal people. Okay, And the most unfortunate part of the project was that these displaced people were not given adequate compensation for the loss of their land, employment, and property, and they were not provided alternative means of livelihood and employment opportunities. For this purpose, their rehabilitation was totally neglected. Because of this project, Sardar Sarovar Dam, because of this project, multi-project, they lost their livelihood, they lost their land, they lost their property. Okay, this was the loss. So their rehabilitation was totally neglected, and the most fundamental human right of people, such as right to life that includes the right to food and livelihood, was violated. Okay, it is our basic human right to right to life, which includes the right to food and livelihood, which was violated because of this project, and their civil liberties were suppressed. And when people protested against the forced acquisition of land by the government, they were denied vivid liberties. They were denied vivid liberties. Their rightful demands for compensation and rehabilitation were just neglected. And the worst part is that several people were also killed. So, in this way, the human rights of these people were violated. Then, see here, NB stands as a protector of human rights. How? See here, it is on this background the NBA, that is in Narmada Bachao Andolan, was started by Megha Patkar, a great social activist. She led the agitation and worked for the cause of people who were displaced by the project. She mobilized people for fighting against the violation of human rights of project affected people. And in 1994, she moved the Supreme Court for opposing the rise in the height of Narmada Dam. She opposed it mainly on the ground of environmental damage caused by the dam and the neglect of rehabilitation of tribal people. Okay, and the Supreme Court asked the authorities of the project to get clearance from Environmental and Rehabilitation Authority of the continuation of the construction of the Narmada Dam, because the court was happy with the rehabilitation work of displaced people by the Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra government, and it ordered the construction of dam up to 90 meters. So this is the huge success of NGO of this Narmada Bachao Andolan. So it is at this juncture Baba Amte, a great social reformer, and Arundhati Roy, a great literary figure, joined the NBA. Okay, so Baba Amte criticized the Supreme Court order and appealed K.R. Narayan, the then President of India, to intervene the Supreme Court order in the interest of people. And according to him, it is a prerogative of the President of India to review the Supreme Court order when the fundamental rights of a quite large number of people are being violated. Okay, so in this way, if our basic human rights or fundamental rights are violated, then it comes NGOs come forward to help you. Okay, thus, though in the beginning the NBA started as an environment protection movement, gradually it became the human rights protection movement. Okay, so see here summary. Let us see what we have studied. So in this chapter we have briefly dealt with what the NGO are doing for the welfare of people. NGOs also have to face some problems. Although NGOs are working for the welfare of the people, they also face some problems. Okay, and in spite of these problems, NGOs work for the protection of the physical environment and human rights. Okay, we have also seen how the three prominent NGOs in India, those are the People's Union for Civil Liberties, that is PUCL, the Chipko movement, and Narmada Bachao Andolan are playing a pivotal role in the protection of human rights in India. So we observed what is the role of NGOs, what kind of functions it has, in what way these NGOs work for the welfare of the people, what kind of problems NGOs face. These all things we have studied. Again, last we also studied what are the roles of NGOs in India, like PUCL, that is People's Union for Civil Liberties, then Chipko movement and Narmada Bachao. These are the several examples given here. These are the ideal examples given here to understand the role of NGOs. There are so many NGOs in our India who are working for the welfare of the common people tirelessly. Okay, so that's all in this video lecture. Okay, we may study again several parts. We are going to study the constitution and its laws and movement of human rights in India in forthcoming videos. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.